because that's when paychecks that's when your monthly paycheck would normally arrive. And when that doesn't get there, shit starts becoming unable to get paid.
So there was an interesting thing that happened during the last one because it was the first one that surpassed 30 days. Yeah. A theory or a feeling that one of the reasons they finally had to cave and make a decision was the air traffic controllers. Because although they were supposed to be coming into work, and I think this has already happened at Burbank Airport, people just started taking their sick leave. And they're like, I'm not going into work. Like, I for anybody who doesn't know, air traffic controller is a famously stressful job. You work insane hours.
Extremely stressful job.
And people, and if you're not getting paid for such a long period of time, people just start calling in their sick days or not showing up and saying, basically, you know, you see a spike in sick days all of a sudden. They're soft quitting. And enough air traffic controllers choosing not to show up during the last shutdown was like one of the last big things that happened before they finally caved and like made a decision together to get the budget through.
And I think, again, because air traffic controllers have mortgages to pay too. Like if their paycheck doesn't arrive, their life starts to get spiraling unwind. So that's where I think this gets, I mean, listen, I think both sides are getting more negative polling from this. Like it is not positive from any American, I think, on the ineffectiveness of government, but it's going to come down to who feels like they're getting the worst PR deal that is going to have to cave.
I did have this thought when I was going over it of, I think I agree with the Democrats taking this stand and making this decision. Like from a political strategy perspective, I do think it is better for them to do this than nothing. But then I thought about how, dude, if I'm not a person who like reads the news and listens to the news every day, and I'm not in tune like with what's going on to some degree, and also I'm in the privileged position of having like a financial position that isn't affected by this at all. Like if I was just a normal person who wasn't tapped in, then I would not be applauding the Democrats here either. I would just be like, the government shut down, fucking figure it out. Like I would just be.
I think that's what most people are saying. Even if they have a side, I think I understand the fight for the ACA subsidies. I get it, and I think this is a fine spot to take a stand. I get the strategy, but I overall feel like, fuck. I feel like I get so frustrated because like.
Well, I think the fear of this is a big thing. The ACA subsidies are probably the most substantial thing that people could see change in their daily financial life, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm one of these people that sees a giant increase in my premiums for my healthcare, right? These subsidies don't expire until later this year still. You have yet to feel the effect of those expirations happening. So you, from a Democratic strategy perspective, you're like gambling on these people's understanding that their healthcare premiums would have gone up in the future, but never actually did. You need to that needs to be so valuable to people. And some people, that's what I mean by tapped in though, right? Like if you're not paying attention, if you're just not paying attention to this at all, and you just pay your healthcare every month, and the subsidy is part of what keeps it low, but you don't give a shit about politics, and it never actually goes up, because this whole situation plays out, what part of it makes you reward the Democrats for that?
No, but if you don't give a shit about politics, you probably haven't even felt the effects of this yet.